Hello everyone and welcome back to Run It Up number 90. I think that might be right. We are playing some 50-cent $1 no limit Texas Hold'em on ultimatepoker.com, and yes, I just posted in the cutoff because I don't have time to wait for the big blind. Let's get in there. I thought I would just post. It's good for the game, whatever. Another dollar in the middle, sure, why not? What's the worst thing that can happen? We lose $1? Okay, I guess that's what happened. So, let's look at the lineup today. There are 3 guys we have seen before many times, and then 2 guys we may or may not have seen before. We have definitely seen B Hanks, Control Alt Delete, and Deuce 7 Nuts over there, or whatever his name is. Decided to race here with 6-5 of spades, 3 callers. Managed to flop a 3 straight, which I guess is something. I would guess that we're not going to win this hand too often, but, you know, hey, let's try. Let's start here with the bet. I think this will be fine. If we can get this guy to fold, I really like our chances. If he sticks around, I don't love our chances as much. But I think if he has a hand like Ace-7, we can put on a lot of pressure against a guy he's never seen before, potentially. I think we can at least try. If 2 people continue, it actually doesn't even necessarily mean that we're done bluffing, because it actually might create some sort of a situation where we can squeeze out like a king or a weak ace from this guy, and then this guy might not be that strong. So let's bet, I guess. We'll make a decision as to whether or not we're going to bet the river, but certainly going to bet turn here. We also turned a pair, which is also kind of sweet. Let's see what happens on the river. 6 or a 5 would be the sweetest river cards. I think clubs would also be okay for us. Could have the best hand as well. He could just have clubs, and that would be fine. Let's see what happens here, though. Could be in 3rd place, could be in 2nd place. Queen of clubs on the river. Interesting. We could start out with a nice little river shove. I think it's, given the speed he called, I think it's much more likely that our opponent has a single ace than clubs. All right, looks like we're off to a great start here. Okay, so that did not work out so well for us. Reloading for $99. Run it down, apparently. Well, I actually think, I thought that it was more likely that our opponent had, did he have a royal, by the way? Or is that just a flush? He might have had a royal flush, which would have been interesting. I didn't even notice if he did. But I guess I noticed later. But I thought it would be fine to bet there. I think if our opponent has a hand like Ace-3, we put on an insane amount of pressure from a guy he's never seen before. And he could definitely have like strong clubs, you know, but there aren't a lot of those, you know. If he has like Ace-X of clubs, it would make sense. Also, Jack-10 of clubs certainly qualifies. So he played his hand totally fine. I think that we're risking 60 or something like that to win 70 something. I think it works often enough. In worst case scenario, he calls and sees we have 6-5 suited, and now we just play tighter the rest of the session, and hopefully we have something, and maybe he won't believe us. It's not bad for our very first hand to do that. It does set the tone right in that we're going to be fighting for pots, which is true. We are. So I think we'll get a lot of respect and extra credit and stuff like that. We'll see. We'll see if that happens. Or maybe we just gave away $100. But hey, either way, we started the session off right. I've certainly bluffed off way more money than that with way less of a chance. So, you know, hey, that's it. You got to get warmed up sooner or later, I guess. And now here we are, warmed. So, I'm still a little bit under the weather. I don't even think I'm, like, super sick anymore, but I still have, like, a sore throat and congestion, headache, sort of, like, I'm, like, mildly sick. I'm certainly not, like, super sick, but a little sick I am. So these videos will be a little bit shorter. Maybe that actually leans towards maybe not bluffing in that spot because we're not going to get full value out of it. Hopefully we remember that Naz, or Nas, depending on how much credit you want to give the guy, is, I think if his name is Naz, I would definitely want to bluff a guy named Naz. A guy named Nas, that's a little scary. That's a tougher name. It's hard to tell, I guess. I think it's Naz. 2 Z's. How could it not be Naz? But, yeah, so I think that maybe because we're playing probably slightly shorter sessions, that maybe it inclines us towards not bluffing there. But I certainly don't mind it. We actually had the best hand on the turn, which is something, I guess, that I did think was possible. But obviously I was hoping was not the case on the turn. Oh, well, I suppose we are folding. This was our chance to get back to even if only we had 2 jacks instead of Jack-5. Looks like that was not to be, though. $250, yeah. I wish. Wouldn't that be a game? We were playing 50, 100. Oh, I wish. The good old days. Actually, I was playing 50, 100 on Ultimate Poker back in August. Back in those days. But these days, can't even get 1020 to run, unfortunately. All right, so we got ourselves some work to do. Oh, I forgot. Most exciting news of all. Actually, there's a little bit of spring cleaning news, but I'm going to start with the most exciting news. That's right. The Bandit Brawl, our picture over my shoulder, has been replaced. That is right. Let's switch it out, and I'll show you guys what we've replaced it with. Our third picture. Can I do that? Maybe I can do that. I'll size like this. And maybe a little smaller like this. Okay. Okay. Yes. There we go. That is right. The Sheriff Pick 3. Master Toshiba is why I've decided to call this picture. Another fantastic work by my friend Will from the UK. How cool is that? How amazing is that? Master Toshiba. That's right. The origins of our hero. Our leprechaun sheriffs don't come out of nowhere, you know. They don't just fall out of trees. They require, you know, training and all of that. So I actually think this might be his best picture yet. The canvas looks beautiful. It absolutely looks amazing. This camera doesn't really quite show how amazing it looks, but it does look sick and entirely different than the other ones. So if you want one of these beautiful little pictures, and how could you not? I have tons and tons of posters that are ready to be shipped out. Next week is going to be the beginning of where you guys can get posters, maybe even t-shirts and stuff like that. I've been working very hard. All right, I've been working mildly hard. I've been trying to make other people work hard. I've been keeping my thumb on all of those things, at least. So I feel like you guys have asked me for t-shirts for months, and I've failed very miserably on that up until recently. But I feel like I'm excited. I'm getting things. I at least have posters. So either way, starting next week, we'll be able to hopefully have a process where if you guys want a poster, I will be happy to send you one. And I think the first, all the ones that I have here, because I have a bunch of them here myself, I will be happy to sign and send to you guys. Of course, all I want you to do is pay for them exactly what I paid. I just want to break even, and you can have your own sweet run-up poster all wherever you want to put it. And this one, at least, is not scary or aggressive. It's just a hard-working guy trying to live his life and learn some martial arts. Can't disrespect that. So, you know, maybe you have a very nitty office that won't let you have a picture of the Bandit Brawl and all the swords and cages and things. I understand, you know. But, you have now other options in our sweet old Toshiba, Master Toshiba picture there. Pretty sweet. I actually think the fourth picture is going to be my favorite one so far. Although this one might be my favorite one till now. I don't know. We'll see. I think the fourth one is amazing. And I've actually already seen the fifth one too. And the fifth one is good, but not as good as the fourth and the third one. I'm just saying. The fifth one is transitional. It's a story picture. It's not as, it's not as epic like the other ones are. So in the next few months, there's a couple, actually, a pretty interesting mix of these. I've got a nice arc planned out in my head. You'll have to, only me and Will know what I'm planning on doing with it. If you want to find out, you'll have to stick around, run it up, and you'll find out. So as far as what we're doing in this hand, though, I raised out of the big blind against the limp pre. I'm pretty sure we still have the best hand here, especially given what we've shown down and all that so far. We could be beat, but I'm more inclined to believe we are ahead than behind. I mean, I'm always more inclined to believe that, but I believe that's actually true in this case, and it looks like we were right, most likely. King and 10 here in the small blind. I was actually planning on doing something different today. You guys have asked me to do multi-table videos, and I've told most of you no, and I really do believe the answer is going to be no for most of the time. But I mean, some of you guys are like, hey, Jay Carver, why don't you 44 table? I can't do that. The casting would be awful. I would never be able to pay attention to what I was talking about. But I was considering doing 2 tables, which is something that I could definitely do. But as soon as I was literally about to sit down at the other table, somebody sat. So I don't have time to wait, so I just posted and started the video. I said, all right, I guess that's just it then. I guess we just fold here. We could have the best hand, but against two guys, one bet and a call, and a player behind. If we're ahead, we're probably not ahead by very much, and if we're behind, we are pretty behind here with not a lot of sweet turn cards that we can win the pot on, and we have the worst position, so I think we don't get to do some cool, scary things on spades and all that, so I think, and given the fact that we had the 6-5 bluff, I think all of those things sprinkled into our beautiful, delicious, run-it-up branded cauldron. I think, God, how sick would that be if I ended up being like a cauldron salesman? After all the twists and turns of my life, if it turned out that I made a fortune selling run-it-up cauldrons, boy, what a twist. Who would have seen that coming, you know? Boy, I bet my mother never said, I hope my son ends up selling branded cauldrons when he grows up. Maybe she did. I don't know. You'd have to ask her. I decided to raise here with king and 7. If you ask me for the reasons why, I have a king. What am I supposed to do? Fold? Get out of here. Here's your little nitty fold warnings. Gonna start with a bet. We have a 3 straight and a 3 flush, not to mention king high. Gonna start with a bet. $4 seems fine. I think $3 is also fine. Against the min raise, you know, against maybe another player in another universe, maybe I would call and do something deceptive and scary and something like that. But I feel like he'll be inclined not to believe us and would be correct in doing so in this particular case. So I guess we just fold. It's something that we can be exploited, and sometimes, you know, if our opponent is just like min raise bluffing all the time, then it's pretty bad for us to even be bet folding, and we can adjust and all of that. And maybe the open itself is just not good. It might be a little loose, but it doesn't make a huge difference. What does it matter? What am I losing by opening? A penny? You know, okay, maybe not a penny, but even if I am losing, like let's say I'm opening 7 deuce offsuit there. Let's say I open 7 deuce offsuit there 500 times. Okay, or let's say 100 times for ease of math's sake. I open there 100 times, and I probably steal the blinds 20 times, so I win $1.50. And then maybe even more than that. Maybe it's 20. Maybe it's that low. Of the other 80 times, if you take all of them and blend them together into our run-it-up branded cauldron, of course, and spit out, you know, how much do I lose? You probably only lose an average of like $2 or $3 per time you open, even with like 7 deuce offsuit there. You understand what I'm saying? And if that's true, then how much do you win or lose with king 7 offsuit? It's probably very close to even over the course of a long span of hands. You know, obviously depends on the players, the opponents, our exact skill set, what we're doing on certain flops and certain turns and certain this and that's and everything else. But I think we're not losing that much. So everybody that freaks out over opens or calls or whatever, you just don't understand. You don't understand how insignificant it is blended into a strategy of things. It's true. Oh, yeah. Big dollar put in here. That's right. All right. Not the best flops, I suppose. I guess we will be checking and making some decisions here. Could check raise, but again, we've, you know, not exactly been proven to be the most tight as right player at the table here. So I guess we should just fold. The call pre-flop is certainly fine, even if we're not contesting too often on flops like this, and sometimes we are. But I think this time, I think we can just fold and go on try to play solid disciplined poker, which we all know how well that worked out for us last time we tried that. So I am on my 4th, well, not even on my 4th yet, but I believe I have now failed my 3rd promotion series. God, I don't know what to say anymore. It's unfortunate. I've been ready. I was 2-2, and I lost my 3rd game. Very disappointing. It's very sad. Very sad. Oh, less sad is that we have flops to pair. It is a limp pot. Could lead, actually, but okay, let's try leading. I feel like the most suspicious thing we can do is leading, which is why I decided to lead. We don't really want to check raise, you know. We check, he bets, we make a 9 or 8 or 7 or whatever. He just folds. He just goes, haha, you got me. I think maybe the best chance to win a bigger pot is going to be leading. We'll lead with a bunch of like draws and speculative hands, and maybe our opponents will freak out or have something that's slightly worse than us, and we'll make more money that way. Jack 3 again. Remember, by the way, we're in for $199, which is a weird number. I don't know why I did that. If I can buy in for $1 more, I really should at some point. We're in for $199 though, so we're only down $98. Not even. I'm rounding up. It's not nearly as bad as you think it is. But I really was thinking about doing a video. You know, the reason why I don't want to do like a 4-tabling video is because I can do it and then record it and then do commentary later, and I could even like pause and whatever and talk about hands, but that sounds really not fun, and also it takes a super long amount of time. I just don't have like 10 hours to play a 5-hour session and then dissect it for another 10 hours and then put it on YouTube for a week or 2 weeks of videos. Like I could definitely do that. but it's very not run it uppy. It would feel like I was just doing a training site for free, and you guys aren't paying me anything to do that. So I don't think I would enjoy that much. I feel like that would be the opposite of enjoyment. But maybe once in a while I can do things like that, or like a short version of it, which is why doing 2 tables live commentary I thought was going to be a cool idea. And I will do that at some point. But let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. That's what they're there for. I also did some spring cleaning, and I cleaned out the trophy case because it's last year's trophies. We can't have last year's trophies on the trophy board, especially since we're playing cash so much more often than sit and goes. I thought that was a thing. We might get check raised here. I might have asked for it by making it 250 instead of 3 or 2. This might encourage a speculative check and raise, but looks like it did not. Yeah, so I cleaned it out, and I wrote a nice little message. Let's be e-friends, I wrote. Facebook.com/jcarpoker. Now I don't have to tell you guys anymore. I can just point to the board and say, and that's it. $30 here with our King Queen of Hearts. Over to the small blind it goes. All right, $1.50 in the pile. That's right, I don't know what the noise was. So this is the very first year I've skipped the PokerStars Caribbean Adventure. I have been there probably every year for the last 6 or 7 years I've went, but I've never done particularly well there. I have like a third for like 80K at one time, and I made day 4 or maybe even day 5 of the main event one year, and it wasn't day 5. There was no way it was day 5. It had to be day 4. Might have even been day 3 actually. But I had a decent stack in one. It was the tournament where there's a guy who's like super notoriously loosey-goosey and super aggressive pre-flop, and his name's like Chris something, but I actually think he has got better since then. But he was just like so silly aggressive. He like raised under the gun, I re-raised with ace king, and he just like 4-bet shoved with 10-5 offsuit, and I call ace king, and he just won, and I was like, all right, see you guys later. So that was pretty much that. Could check raise or check call here. I think either is viable. I actually think check raising is a little bit better. Let's go with that then. I think, like, if he has a hand like king, like a queen jack, I think I'd prefer to check raise and check call. Also, if he has a hand like 2 7s, we win this pot way more often with a check raise than with a check call. So for him to win this pot, he has to have like either he has to like contest it like this, which is obviously fine, or he has to have some sort of like pretty strong king, clubs, 5 7. If he has a hand like a 6, he's in a little bit of stress situation with that. But I think we just fold in this case. We turned our hand into kind of like a semi-bluff sort of here, and I suppose we just fold. And I will rebuy for my $1 now to make the accounting less silly. I think that was fine though. I don't think there was anything too crazy. I mean, I think we could have check called, but we're probably going to lose a similar amount of money, if not more, doing that. And I think check raising generally there is probably better. But once again, maybe our image is a little bit sillier than people think. Like, some people, and maybe even Brent, perceive me to be looser and more crazy than I actually am. But, I don't know. It's probably fine. If he bluffed us, he bluffed us. It happens. It's poker. If you're not getting bluffed, you're calling too much. How's that? A little wisdom for you there. Put that on the chalkboard. 10, 9, call. Could call, actually. I actually don't mind calling, but, okay. A little something different for the kids at home. Let's just call. See how this works out for us. Start with a check. I think if you re-raise here out of the small blind, we'd turn our hand very similar to face up, right? We re-raise and the guy goes, shit, this guy's got kings or queens or aces or jacks or something like that. And he'd be right. And I don't like when people are right about what I have. So, going to lead out here. We're going to lead out with a wide variety of hands. If our opponent raises, we would just call. 10 on the river makes me think we probably have the best hand. Possibly have the best hand. Let's check and call. He could definitely have a king and value bet, but I don't think he has 10s too often. I think he actually has hands that are like ace high kind of often here, like ace jack, ace queen. He could have some kings, of course, and this particular guy could always have it here. But against a guy we don't know, especially if he's named Spew Artist, I think I'm going to be hard-pressed to fold our actual hand here. We very rarely show up with queens in this spot, and that's for sure. So I would not have folded had he bet, but he just said, you take it. I will. Thank you. A little bit different there, but I think that's also an ingredient of a thing that makes us harder to play against. That most people would re-raise the queens there, and then you turn your hand face up. And not only turn your hand face up, but you're turning your hand face up, and you have like near the bottom of the things that he'll expect you to have. right? And he goes, oh, this guy has ace, king, queens or better. Well, that's exactly what we have. So I think it's better to call. And for me and my style, I've always enjoyed incorporating those sort of things in a different pile where people expect you to, oh, he calls, he must have 3-5 suited. Well, I actually have queens. And then, oh, he re-raised, oh, he must have queens. I actually have 3-5 suited. Like, I think that's obviously a very non-exciting principle of poker, but I think it's something that has worked really well for me. And most people do it in the other way where they re-raise the 3-5 suited, but they also re-raise with queens, which is fine, of course. But in spots like that, when we're in the small blind at a position against under the gun raiser, we don't have a re-raising hand. We don't have 3-5 suited when we re-raise there. And he would never expect us to. Even if we do, he would never expect us to. So that's why I think calling is fine. Is it a thing that if we were going to play this game for 8 hours, would I always call there with queens? Of course not. But I thought it was fine. A little song for you guys. It was not really a song. It was like a it was a hymn. Whatever, Jay Carver. You've lost your damn mind. I don't know what to say. I'm sick. And, you can blame it on the laryngitis or whatever it is that I have. Hopefully not laryngitis. That would suck for you guys. Gonna suck for Brent Hanks, so we have 3 of a kind here. That's right. Gonna start with a bet $3. Seems like a good number to start out with. If you just check folds, all right. You escaped the emergency, Brent Hanks. Hopefully he does not. All right, made at least $3 there. Ace is a sad turn card for us because it is a card that we're going to bet very often, and Brent is going to very often fold too. And so I think we will bet, and we'll probably bet a lot because I think that's the best chance we have of making it look like we don't have it. But yeah. That was that was basically we lose the hand, or at least win no more money turn card. If he just has like queen 5, he's going to be hard pressed to call, especially against us. If we had a worse image, then maybe we would get away with that. But I actually just think we just lose on that turn card so often. And if we bet 6, I think it accomplishes very similar the same things to 8. But I was thinking maybe 8 would bait him into some sort of like a little bit of a mind game, where he'd be like, why would he bet so much if he has it? Meanwhile, we're just sizing all of our bets. Usually would be that big. If you saw the hand we bluffed, we also sized that large. So I was hoping that maybe he would be heroic, but I feel like Brent usually does a pretty good job of keeping his fire helmet on nice and tight and stays away from those sorts of tricky little situations there. I guess we're just folding here at the 6-9 offsuit. So I've got some very exciting news for all you run-up warriors out there, especially those of you in America. Actually, I think mostly for you are those in America. I'm sorry. If you're in, all you Latvian warriors can cover your ears. I'm sorry. Don't be jealous. But I'm very, very excited to announce that. Well, not announce. I announced it on Facebook, but it's a real thing. It's actually happening now. Ultimate Poker is allowing the privilege, the luxury, the chance to win a beautiful, not just one ticket. You lost the spoiler alert because it was tagged. Not just one ticket to the UFC, but 2 tickets to the UFC in UFC 169, Saturday, February 1st, 2014. But not only will you necessarily have a chance to win 2 tickets to UFC 169. I always think it's 170 because I thought Silva was 169, but it's not. 169, newly announced Uriah Faber versus Renan Barão, and Jose Aldo against Ricardo Llamas. 2 title fights. It's going to be an absolutely great night of fights. And what better way to watch UFC 169 than with 50... Yes, that's right. 50 run-it-up warriors. We're all in the same section. I will be there in the core of the section. Yes, that's right. We get to all hang out and, win some UFC tickets. Actually, we're not doing that together, but we're going to hang out, and it'll be a great little time. Details on how to win will be coming soon. But how exciting is that? That is right. I am very happy that Ultimate Poker and the UFC wanted to do that. I thought that was a great idea. Yes, I will do that. That sounds amazing. That's not exactly how it went, but you might as well pretend that that's what happened. But so yeah, I am really excited that that's going to be an awesome time. So I'll be out in Jersey about around then. It'll be some fun times. I'll be floating around. I'm actually going to give away. I'm not giving away anything. You'll have a chance to win. You'll have a chance to win on Run It Up. I think 40 tickets on Run It Up, and then I'll be giving away. I'll be tweeting about them when I'm in I'm in Jersey. There'll be other chances to win while I'm in Jersey. So you got to stay tuned to Run It Up. Ultimate Poker on Twitter as well has lots of more tickets. Actually, there's a 1,000 ticket chance to win. I think there are 1,000 tickets in total up for grabs. So check that out. Ultimate Poker over on Twitter. A lot of people have asked me like what our relationship is between me and Ultimate Poker, and we're like cool cousins. You know, they're that cool cousin you always want to hang out with, but they're like too cool for you sometimes. That's kind of like what it's like with us. I have no idea what that is supposed to imply, really. But I'm obviously Ultimate Poker Pro, and I have taken on a larger role with helping them with a lot of their video stuff, marketing stuff, and I feel like I obviously have. I mean, I had felt like I had a pretty cool little like bridge role between the UFC and the poker worlds and the video worlds as well, and then I felt that that was really what my pitch was to them when we started out, and as time has gone on, that's really kind of what my role has been, to be kind of like the This is supposed to be a bridge. It's supposed to be a bridge, but I don't even really mean bridge. There's a word. It's not liaison, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So yeah. Regardless of all that, stay tuned. I'll be doing a whole thing with these tickets. It's gonna be awesome. I don't know how I'm gonna restrict them or what's gonna be, but there'll be whole different ways. Lots of different. It won't just be best song or best this. It'll be a whole variety of things. All right, there goes the voice the first time this video. Hey, we're gonna make it through this. It'll be all right. Don't worry, kids. It'll be okay. But there'll be lots of cool things going on with all of that. We also are in for 200 now. I should write that down. So yeah, that's happening the rest of January. Details to come over there. So many cool things happening. Actually, also next Monday. I don't know for sure actually, but sometime soon. One of my good friends is moving to Las Vegas to pretty much help me with everything Run It Up related, and I'm really excited about that. So it'll actually be 2 people that will be working full time on Run It Up stuff, and not just me. So I'm really, really excited about that. That's going to help a lot with a lot of cool things. If you saw the Run It Up highlight video that we did, that one with it was the hilarious one with all the voices, and the Sherry video and all of that. That hilarious video. I think it was called A Week in the Life of Run It Up, if you want to go check that out. But that video was created by my friend Andre, actually, who used to be a professional StarCraft player, and then I met him through gaming, and wow, that's a pretty ambitious call there. I think I wasn't paying a ton of attention, but I think it went raise, re-raise, shove, call, or like raise, limp, raise, shove, call. I don't know, but it was a lot to call, I think. But yeah, so he's starting next week sometime, and that will help so much with everything. Because right until these days, I have people that help me a little bit every now and again, but for the most part, it's me every single day. And there's a lot of things going on out here. There's a lot of things. I've never worked harder in my life, for sure. The last 6 months have been crazy. They've been the best 6 months of my life, don't get me wrong, but they've also been the busiest 6 months of my life. Maybe those things are correlated. I'll leave that up to you to decide. You can decide on your own over there, Nancy Drew, if those things are correlated. But I don't know. This is a weird mood. I feel very tired, obviously, because I'm battling the laryngitis, which might not be laryngitis. I'm just calling it that in case that hasn't been made obvious to you already. Happily calling with King 9 offsuit. Okay, I'm not going to fold. Whether we check raise, check call, or I guess those are the 2 choices, is up to be seen. If our opponent checks back, I would very happily bet on most turns. At this point, we could check raise or check call. Against the larger bet, I actually kind of think I like a check raise better. If a turn card is a jack, a 7, a king, maybe, 9 I probably would check. A jack, a 7, a heart, a king, I'm willing to bet. If a turn card is like a queen, that's probably the most awkward card. Not the most awkward card, but it would be a little awkward at least. Heart is good for me. Happy to bet on turn heart. Once again, unfortunately with this situation, the best line is going to be to bet turn and shove river. That would be the best line to take here. If our opponent has just 8 ace queen with the ace of hearts or something like that. It would be really sad to have the river be a 4 of spades and go check check and ace high win. But it looks like we won't have to pull out the last bullet here. That's another advantage of giving the old bet into him, is because when this guy sees us bet twice, we are, the threat of the third bullet is oftentimes enough to get the job done. You guys know. It's Russian politics. Huh? What does that mean? I don't even know. It just feels like a kind of thing, It's true. I don't know. The threat of the third bullet is often more important than actually firing that third bullet itself. Somehow this related to me to, Russian politics, but you could take that for what it is. I do stay pretty in touch with worldwide politics, generally speaking. I've always been. I find American politics to be very annoying, and just like it's like a yelling match, and no one actually says anything of value, and everyone is just equally everything is too soundbitey. These ridiculously complex issues are just dribbled down into these stupid sound bites of yelling, and it's very dumb in my opinion. The political discourse in the U.S. for the most part, in a mainstream level, is disgusting. I would go so far as to say, actually, but that's neither here nor there. My point was that I enjoy reading a lot of foreign media sources and a variety of media sources, and I think that I forget if I had anything to say beyond that. I was just like, look at you. Look at you, Jay Carver, all showing off with your fancy news sources. I don't even know what voice that was. It sounds like my mom. My mom, who only watches Fox News and Sean Hannity and those crazies over there. Okay, there are some crazier ones than that she listens to. King 7 offsuit, did we learn our lesson? Oh, hell no. Raise $2, dealer. Back to that King 7 offsuit grind. Let's see how much money we make this time. All right. I feel like we've done this. I feel like we've seen this movie before. Made it to pair status. That's a difference than last time. Shall we start with a bet? If he raises to $6, we will just call, of course. 3 flush, king high, and king high doesn't matter, of course, but pretty good turn card for us. I think we are likely to have the best hand. If I was a betting man, I would bet that we have the best hand. I think he could definitely have us beat, but So at this point, I think we're going to be in check, make a decision mode. The Italian Taylor will come out and we make a decision, Let's see if we were right about anything we were saying here. Nope, didn't have the best hand, but I think that it's fine. It is what it is. We have the best hand there often enough. He has some sort of straight draw, ace high, worse 7, whatever the bottom card was, 3, right? He has one of those often enough. And I actually guessed in that spot we might have considered bluffing the river, but I think our hand is actually just good enough that we don't have to. But I wouldn't have hated if someone was like, we really need to bluff here. I don't know who would be saying that, but if we really need to bluff, come on, don't be a nit bitch. I don't know. The craziest thing to me is I don't ever use these voices in any other regard. I'm not practicing the voices or anything like that. They just appear on the show. Their multiple personalities just appear. I had the moment of panic where the video wasn't recording, by the way, but it's good. I hope. And but yeah, they just appear. I'm just possessed by these random voices. How do you guys feel about that? We're a little worried. Don't be worried. It's fine. It's all good. I guess we'll fold here. I do feel a little bit out of it today, but that's not really a huge difference, I guess, than normal. I guess that's actually not true. I usually feel pretty in it, but I can already feel my throat starting to hurt a little bit. So this video isn't going to go on much longer, unfortunately. I know we did lose. At this point, we have lost $90, but it's no big deal. We'll get back on that grind, and even if I have to do a longer session and then stream it, that's actually not bad. We did that a couple times in the old days, if you guys have been around that long. Remember there was a session I 4-tabled? I actually remember this very well, actually, because the night before, that was back in the day where there were some off-table or other off-camera sessions, and the night before I lost $100 of our whatever it was at that point, 600 or whatever, and I was really tilted about it too. I was God, I was just annoyed, and so I recorded 4 tabling to get back to even. I believe this is all true, and then we streamed and I talked about it on stream. So I'd be down for that, I guess, but turning it, I feel like I feel like I'm kind of torn on the value of streams. You know, I think a lot of people don't like the streams, and then they're not great YouTube videos because they're meant to be streams, but they're for the run up bankroll. So I'm really kind of torn a little bit. If are they their own thing? Should I just do like it's separate? Like, you know, should I just not put them on YouTube? I don't know. I haven't really figured out a good way to do it. I could even try to stream on YouTube itself, but that doesn't seem nearly as easy as it is to stream on everything else. So I don't know. We'll have to see. That's something else that I'll get a lot of help out of, I think, from my friend next week. Having made it to top pair status, we will certainly be betting. 4 is a little scary because he could definitely have a 4 here, but I would never check because he has too often 9s and 3s. So if he has an equal distribution of 9s, 3s, and 4s, I would prefer to bet and fold than I would to do anything else. I don't think that there's much of a chance of our opponent raising here as a bluff. Him folding, though, makes me think maybe we should have checked. If he folded a 3, I would be shocked. He might have folded a straight draw, ace high, or king high, something like that. Which would be a rather ambitious call down if he had king high, given that he's seen us bet with, you know, a 6. So in that other spot, so it would be really ambitious to call with king high there. Or, you know, I would like to think that he probably had 5 deuce, 6-5, or whatever the other straight draws were. It was 4-3, right? So yeah, deuce 5 or 6-5 are the only two that really make sense. So, yeah, I guess that's the hand that I would most likely put him on. Oh, finally, we get a button lottery ticket. Let's see if we can hit it. Come on. 6-7 to puppy dog feet. What do we win? Nothing. Shouldn't play the lottery, boys. That's the lesson for you at home. You know, hey, we haven't had a chance to even try to hit the lottery of just, you know, flopping anything in position. I think we'll just fold this one, as sad as that is. Okay, over to the cutoff we go. I'm a little afraid of getting sicker. I mean, I'm like right on the cusp right now where I'm like not too sick to work, but I'm like just sick enough to be annoyed and not want to do a lot of other things that I would enjoy doing. So I don't know. I feel like I'm probably gonna cut it off at the end of this orbit. Sorry, a 40-minute video is still not bad for you know, the old Jay Carver would have been like, I'm too sick, I can't make videos. No, we're running it up, bitch. Get over it. You know, that's how I feel these days. You know, you think Craig Ferguson takes off days when he's got a little sniffles? Shut the fuck up and make a video. That's what I say to myself. Actually, that's it. Let's see a flop. I've got the king and the jack. How do I fold? We might win this hand. That's good news, at least. We could call, do something deceptive, you know, pretend we have some piece of it. Turn card heart, turn card 9, turn card 7 are all scary. If our opponent just checks, we're going to definitely bet because, you know, it's a very scary flop. We're going to bet. I think 14 sounds like the right number. We'll think about it and be like, I don't know what to bet, and then bet 14. 14 it is. If he has a hand like ace king, ace queen, I would think he would just check fold here some percentage of the time. Actually, he must check fold here some percentage of the time. If he has a hand like 2 queens, 2 kings, I actually really don't mind his line of check calling. I'm only planning on continuing on scary turn cards and or ones that pair us. And this actually seems like a very reasonable plan for a hand like overpair. I actually think this is a very well played hand if he does have an overpair. If he has ace king, this is too ambitious, I think. Well, think about it and then just fold, obviously, for a sec, and then fold. I actually think his play, if he had an overpair, it's actually very well played. Checks give us a chance to bluff if we have a hand like ace queen or king jack or something like that. And we very rarely have him absolutely destroyed. If we had any pair, obviously, I wouldn't fold. Oh, is that true? If I had any pair, I wouldn't fold. Well, I mean, obviously, if I had like 2 5s, I would fold. But if we had like any relevant connected pair, like 8-9 offsuit or something like that, and we bet and he shoved, I wouldn't fold then, because too often, if he ever has ace king or ace queen and we fold, it's a disaster. And worst case scenario, he has 10s, but you know, in a reasonable scenario, he just has queens or something, and you know, we're all right against that. All right. So we mostly just bluffed off $100 here. If we hadn't done that, we'd have lost $10. It would have been one of the most boring sessions, poker-wise, I think, that we've ever played. There really just weren't any really exciting ends. We just didn't really get much going here, besides the fact that we lost the $100 in that bluff early on. So we started with 200, ended with 88.18. So we lost 111.82, and 178601. So we're down to 1674. Oh my god, painful. Hurts me badly. Badly hurts me. But that's all right. We'll get back in there, grind it right back up. I actually think I like the idea of doing that 2-table thing, or let's do a full screen. Let's get a full screen wrap up going. I think we'll either do like a 2-tabling video or some sort of like that, either 2-tabling video for YouTube or maybe like a 4-tabling video for a stream. But like I said, let me know what you guys think about all those things in the comments below. Also, you can let me know on facebook.com/jcarpoker. If you post a hand or anything on my wall, there's a whole community that will talk and chat with you. So feel free to come and hang out and follow me or friend me. We can be internet friends. How cool is that? It's up to you. How cool is that? You decide. I'm just giving you the option. So thanks, guys. As always, I appreciate it. Look how beautiful. Look how beautiful that canvas is. It's gorgeous. I'm crying. Look at that. It's great. Let's be e-friends. Come on, the board says so. Let's be e-friends. Facebook.com/jcarpoker. Thanks so much, as always, guys. I will see you back for more tomorrow, unless I get sicker, which hopefully I won't. All right. See you guys later. Peace.